we must give Almighty God praise for bringing us back safely and in good health. It is with a renewed sense of purpose and dedication to the people's work that I am excited to warmly welcome you, each and every one of you, back to the People's House. I hope that each one of you had a rejuvenating time with your loved ones, and you return to the esteemed chamber with renewed energy and determination to serve the people who have placed their trust in us. We must always remember the immense responsibility we hold as representatives of the people and the compelling duty we have to serve our great nation. I understand that members are expected to resume plenary in our main chamber after the recess. However, the work has not been completed, but there is progress, and I can report that by the time we resume early next year, we should be resuming in the main chamber. I plead with you to continue to endure the inconveniences of this ad hoc arrangement, as delivering service to our constituents is our utmost probity at this time. During our time away, I'm certain that each one of you had the opportunity to engage with your constituents, listening to their concerns, hopes, and aspirations. It is through these interactions that we truly get to understand the impact of our decisions on the lives of those we represent. Let us never forget that our primary duty is not just to serve, but to serve faithfully. In the course of our recess, our country has continued to face numerous challenges and presented with even greater opportunities and prospects. It is now our collective responsibility to address these issues with wisdom, integrity, and commitment to the betterment of our society. The people have placed their trust in us, and it is our duty to honor that trust by working diligently towards their welfare. Thus, as we resume our legislative duties today, it is crucial that we prioritize the needs of our constituents. We must remain steadfast in our commitment to promoting good governance, ensuring social justice, and fostering economic growth. Our decisions should be guided by a deep understanding of these issues at hand and a genuine desire to improve the lives of those we represent. In this pursuit, the House has hit the ground running upon inauguration in June to give proper focus and direction to the House in meeting the needs of our people. We set up a legislative agenda committee under the able leadership of the House Leader, Professor Julius Ehobere. This was born out of our belief that agenda setting for Parliament is a significant institutional framework available to shape policy outcomes that will benefit the vast majority of citizens. In carrying out this assignment, the committee convened a stakeholders forum which enabled Nigerians to make substantial input into the agenda. The first peoples-driven approach is central to and reflects our belief that citizens' engagement is the fulcrum of representative democracy. It is also the product of the Openness Initiative, which places high premium on regular, meaningful, and productive engagement with the citizens. I'm delighted to report that the committee has completed its assignments, and we are all enjoying to go through it to ensure that it embodies and meets our commitment to our people. Similarly, we set up several ad hoc committees to address matters of national importance. This was done before the constitution of our standing committees. The ad hoc committees worked all through the recess in their different areas of mandate, and I can report that they have made tremendous progress in the various tasks assigned to them. Let me use this opportunity to to sincerely thank members of these committees for the sacrifice, diligence, commitment, and dedication that they brought to these important assignments. I'm aware that most of the other committees are yet to conclude their reports. In this light and development, I wish to direct that all other committees should conclude their assignments and submit their reports on or before 3rd of October 2023. Accordingly, all other committees shall cease to exist on October 3rd, 2023. However, in an event that any other committee is unable to conclude its assignment on this date, such tasks shall be yielded to the relevant standing committees of the House. My dear colleagues, permit me to express my displeasure at the failure of some state caucuses to send their nominations for membership of the standing committees. This is in spite of all pleas made to us before our recess and assurances received from the state caucuses. As a result, therefore, we are yet to fully populate the standing committees of the House. Consequently, the House leadership has resolved to make such nominations for states who fail to do so by Thursday, 28 September 2023. As you make these nominations, kindly be informed of the creation of 3 additional committees. State and Local Government Committee, Traditional Institutions, and Petroleum Resources Training Fund. This brings the total of our House committees to 137. We equally created 13 more parliamentary friendship groups to facilitate and deepen our capacity development and peer learning. The leadership of the House has considered that in order to strengthen the capacity of the House, only chairmen and deputies of parliamentary friendship groups will constitute membership of the committees on foreign affairs and diaspora. This is done to allow the leaders of the groups to gain some insight into the management of the groups from the foreign affairs and diaspora committees. Honorable colleagues, it is important to emphasize that for the first time in the House of Representatives, a committee on monitoring and evaluation was created to supervise the activities of the standing committees and advise the leadership on the performance of the committees. This is in line with the avowed commitment to service delivery. Committees that fail to meet the benchmarks will be reconstituted. In the same vein, the leadership has also, for the first time, created a committee on the implementation of the legislative agenda to ensure adherence and full compliance to the agenda in our quest to serve Nigerians. In view of the premium this House has placed on capacity building, the leadership has concluded arrangement with the National Institute of Legislative Studies to organize leadership program for chairmen and deputies of the standing committees of the House. In furtherance of our efforts to mitigate the capacity gaps of the House, I have met with development partners and donor agencies during the recess with the view to providing interventions for capacity building for members and staff of the House of Representatives. The outcome of the meeting was the imperative to set up a programs coordinating unit in the Speaker's office. This unit is expected to harmonize and coordinate the capacity development drive of the House. In setting about this task, all interventions and technical support from donor agencies, development partners, and CSOs will now be centralized and channeled through this unit. The essence is to track, monitor, and coordinate these interventions to ensure that they meet the right standards, protect the image of the House, and promote national security. Henceforth, committees, staff development partners, donor agencies, and CSOs in the House of Representatives will be mandatorily required to route such interventions through this unit. I need also to remind you of the enormous challenges confronting our nation at this time. There are challenges that will engage our attention in the coming days and months. National security remains precarious, even in the face of numerous successes recorded by our gallant security personnel. Only a few days ago, the nation was struck by the gruesome murder of a joint team of security personnel in Ihime Mbano of Imo State. A similar sad incident happened in Shiroro local government area of Niger State, when scores of soldiers were ambushed and gruesomely murdered by terrorists. Sadly, some female students of the Federal University Gusau were abducted by terrorists, while there were reports of travelers being kidnapped along the Opi-Enugu road. These and so many are some of the security challenges that bedevil this country, and we need to take proactive measures to ensure that we bring them to an end. Furthermore, Superintendent Opolawo Abashim, Divisional Police Officer in Naho, the local government area of Rivers State, was brutally murdered by deadly cultists. In Zaria, Kaduna State, the central mosque collapsed, resulting in fatalities, while residents of Trade, Mo Estate in Abuja, suffered extensive losses owing to a devastating perennial flood. There was equally distressing reports of attacks in communities in Plateau State. These are just a few examples of what happened, as I believe some of you may have one experience or the other. While we mourn the loss of fellow citizens who had to pay the supreme price in the line of duty, we must condemn these attacks on the state and citizens in the strongest terms. However, our best response will be the deployment of our legislative powers and instruments to ensure the security of life and property across the country. Honorable colleagues, our economic challenges remain as daunting as they were before the recess. The country is challenged on several economic fronts. Cost of living crisis occasioned by high cost of energy, cost of food is skyrocketing daily. Lack of livable wages, the negative effects of the unpredictable and fluctuating foreign exchange rates, a disappearing middle class, and a host of other issues. When people are hungry and despondent, what is needed is a leadership with a clear vision, a leadership that on a daily basis demonstrates its commitments and capacity to tackle the challenges at hand. A leadership that should be innovative in providing short and long-term solutions. This is what Nigeria needs at this time, and as representatives of the people, we must rise up to these very occasions. While the executive arm of government is engaging the citizens and trying to work out strategies to tackle the hardship in the country, our legislative actions must therefore be directed by a clear, robust vision aimed at supporting the executive in restoring our citizens on the path of prosperity. We must deploy the necessary legislative instruments to create jobs, ensure payment of living wages in the civil service, pull Nigerians out of poverty, address the prevailing infrastructural deficit, rid the country of crippling insurgency, ensure the security of lives and property, and affordable functional education so that no child is left behind. On account of these economic challenges, the organized labor under the aegis of Nigerian Labour Congress seems to have lost patience with the painstaking effort of the government to plan and provide sustainable minimum wage and palliatives to citizens. The organized labor, it appears, would embark on a nationwide strike by this midnight, following the expiration of a 21 days ultimatum issued to government. As the people's representatives, we feel and equally share in the pains of our people at these very difficult times. However, I would like to appeal to the Nigeria Labour Congress to consider the various actions being taken by the federal government to alleviate the current hardship faced by Nigerians. As promised earlier, this House remains committed to getting a survival wage to all Nigerian workers. The 10th House had assured Nigerians there would be interfacing between the organized labor and the government to quickly work out a realistic new national minimum wage. And as such, other palliatives to enable citizens cope with the economic impact of fuel subsidy removal, the downward fall of the naira to the dollar, skyrocketing cost of food, and general high cost of living in the country. It is in our considered opinion that embarking on a nationwide strike at this point will only aggravate an already bad situation. I therefore urge the leadership of labor unions to give us the benefit of doubt and suspend any planned strike action while we engage the executive. Honorable colleagues, it has not been entirely woes and gloom for our nation, as we have been presented with opportunities and prospects to turn the tide around. Only recently, His Excellency President Ahmed Tinubu recorded a huge diplomatic and economic breakthrough with the United Arab Emirates, which will see the resumption of issuance of visa to Nigerians by the UAE and the return of Emirates Airlines to Nigerian skies. We equally recorded some major economic agreements in India, just as we had a productive outing at the recently concluded 78th General Assembly of the United Nations. In the coming days, the executive arm of government is expected to present a 2023 supplementary appropriation bill, as well as the 2024 appropriation bill to this honorable House. It is expected that the time to consider these bills will be short, but we must roll up our sleeves and get to work immediately and ensure the speedy consideration of these bills that will encapsulate the yearnings of the people, while we maintain the tradition established by the 9th House in terms of speedy consideration of the appropriation bills. We must diligently consider the bills to ensure that they meet the needs of our constituents. We have to put extra work hours to ensure that the budget is passed in good time to enable its implementation from the first day of 2024. Our nation, and indeed the 10th House of the people, does not have the luxury of time in the face of profound national challenges. We must therefore do everything within our powers to champion causes towards addressing the yearnings of our people. On this score, our goals are clear. Our determinations are unrivaled. We must key into the legislative agenda of this House as a roadmap towards navigating our numerous challenges. Our bills, motions, resolutions, actions, and more should mirror the legislative agenda, being a joint product between the House and the citizens. Government has been fully formed with the inauguration of ministers by Mr. President, while committees have been constituted in the two chambers of the National Assembly. We have no time to spare in delivering results to our people. Committees must actively engage MDAs to ensure optimal service delivery in accordance with legislations passed by the National Assembly. And in the discharge of our committee assignment and oversight, you must be guided by established legislative ethics and standing orders of the House. Finally, honorable colleagues, let us approach this new session with a renewed sense of purpose and dedication. Our nation looks for roles for leadership, and it is our duty to rise to the occasion. Together, let us work tirelessly towards building a better future for our people, guided by the principles of justice, equality, and progress. We have set legislative agenda which will act as the barometer to measure our legislative actions. It is time to walk the talk Thank you, and may we have a productive and successful sessions ahead.